I don't know if anyone's ever had that happen, but oh, it's the worst. So I am going to have to really push myself to get that done before Christmas. But tonight it is Monday, December 14th. And we tonight are going to be talking about the process of inviting. And we're going to be really talking and diving into some various scripts and ways that we can really form and connect and talk to people to make sure that we're on the right track, that we're not rushing a conversation, that we're not really focusing so much on a point that we're forgetting about why we're starting in the first place. So that is really the premise of our call tonight. But before we dive into that, I really have to make sure that we give a shout out to the coaches who are working towards Success Club. And there are so many names on the board. So Renisha Burns is a new coach in our organization. Jess Calamarina, I'm pretty sure, is her personally sponsored coach. She's brand new. Already has 8 points on the board. Girl, I am so proud of you. That is such a big deal. Way to seriously rock it. And of course, we have Ashley Harris on the board. We have Megan Kunzman, Rachel Harvey already there. Lauren DeHaven just having a baby, and she is already on the board. Couldn't be more excited for her. Okay. Sorry, I had to mute everyone. All right, so just check out the names. Make sure you give a shout out to the people who are working so hard towards Success Club this month, closing out the year strong and really focusing on moving their business forward, especially into January. And we know that the work in January, I hate that it does this. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it does this. It's so sensitive, and I need to make sure I change that. Okay, top producers of the week, we've got Ashley Harris. Again, are you guys seeing her name constantly pops up? Ashley is always on the top producers list, always in the Success Club. She is truly creating a business where she is obviously having success, not just in her personal sales, but her team is duplicating her same success. So congratulations to Ashley Harris for being on top of the leaderboards. Diane, way to go, girl. 412 this week. We've got Kate Lepley. Taylor is up there with 398. Carrie, Renisha again. Chaley. We have Rachel, Sarah Todd, Karen, Katie, Jess, Danielle, Jeanette, Lexi, Janelle, Kristen Baker, Stephanie Ebert, Deidre, Chrissy, Amber, and Corey Learn. New coaches on this shout out this week, making sure that they are clearly just being a product of the product. They are showing people what's in store. They're showing people what's available to them. And I am just really excited that so many coaches had such an awesome week. I really want to touch up on announcements for you guys. If you are not in the Pittsburgh area, this still does apply to you. So first of all, know that Super Saturday, if you're new to the organization, if you're new to the team, please note that Super Saturday is the event that's held quarterly around the country. This is an event where they basically tell you these are the new products that are going to be launched. So I know in January, they're not only going to be talking about the top coaches who closed out 2015, they're also going to be talking about the new products that are going to be launched. We've got Cafe Latte that is coming out, a new flavor of Shakeology that really does rival a Starbucks coffee frappuccino. It's delicious. It is so good. That's coming out in early February. I know in Pittsburgh they're going to have trial packs available for everybody to try for free there. So in Pittsburgh, though, if you're coming in for Pittsburgh, I just want to give you a really quick lowdown of what's happening, what events are happening there. So on Friday night at the Omni downtown, we are going to have Carl Deichler in, and he will be not only, introducing the top coach. Alyssa Shoemaker is very likely going to be a top 10 coach. We've also got the Shakeology, Cafe Latte. We have giveaways and raffles, and we're going to do a workout with master trainer Cam Niskatch, who is big in the Pittsburgh area. We have a pretty cool event for her workout as well. But we're not going to stop there. On Saturday morning, we're going to make the most of the weekend, and we're going to do a really awesome Build Your Business training. Now, the Dream Team is sponsoring this. The tickets are available There are various trainings that are gonna take place. We're gonna be talking about social media. We're gonna talk about branding. We're gonna talk about just being busy. I've heard so many coaches talk about, I just don't have time to do all of this. This is really hard to balance everything. And so we're going to have a couple of trainings on that. I myself am going to be doing a trainer with Michaeline and Taylor and Kirsten, 3 of my personally sponsored team leaders, based on that organizational ladder. And the 4 of us are going to be training on how to the colors that you can use to get to know your coaches a little bit more, and how you can kind of coach them based on what their personality is. And then finally, Saturday night, we are going to take it up to the next level. There's going to be a dream team party at the Console Energy Center in the Lexus Club. It is available to all coaches in the Dream Team, so that's you. You are more than welcome to attend. It is cocktail attire. I know I will be wearing a nice cocktail dress. Mike might get out of his sweatpants. I'm not really sure if he will or not, but this is an event for Emerald and above. So if you're working towards Emerald, now is the time to do it, because it is going to be an awesome night. It's going to be a really, really cool thing. So just wanted to make sure you guys knew about what was going on. January 8th and 9th, 2 huge days for the Dream Team, which is our my coaches team that we are a part of. All right, and then a couple more things just I wanted to touch base with you on. We have some really amazing team leaders in our organization. So a team leader in the organization is based on that organizational ladder that you see. And basically a team leader is somebody who is starting to really see their coaches begin to grow a business. And so a few of the team leaders on our team are Kirsten Nuss, Michaeline Cirqua, we have Taylor Maltrano, we have Danielle Engel, who I think is on the call. And so what we kind of did is we sort of brainstormed together that we want to hear from other people in the organization. We want to hear from other leaders. We want to see how other people are running their businesses. So we are going to begin in January in place of just the KB team call. We're just going to be starting what we call the leadership series. And basically the leadership series is every week, one of the team leaders in the Knockout Brigade is going to do the announcements like you see here, but then they're also going to do a training for you. They might bring in a guest speaker. They might bring in someone on their team. They might bring in they might themselves present on a topic, but it kind of gives us all a feel to see how different people are running things differently in their organization. So that is something that throughout the year I expect will grow as more leaders kind of come into the organization and more team leaders are developed. I know for me personally, thanks babe, that is a big goal of mine next year, is as I sat down over the last month and I thought about what my goals are and where I want to go, it really is to develop more team leadership on the team and to kind of take myself sort of like off of the, I don't know how to say it, like I want to be more behind the scenes, and I want to see you guys really start to feel like, I've got this. I want to start developing my team and taking that leadership role to the next level. So that's going to be taking place starting in January. We're going to let you know when we officially pick the actual night, the evening that we're going to be doing those calls, but that will now be our team calls. Okay, so this is what I'm doing this Wednesday night. I did not know that Zoom actually has a webinar you can create. So you know how when you go to Zoom, you actually have to go in and you have to click the link and they have to log in, and then everybody sees your face and everyone's like, I don't know if I want to send this to my potential customers, because they get confused because they have to download the app and then they are not really sure how it works. Well, they have this live webinar, and basically what it allows you to do is it's very much like Google Hangout, only nobody really has to log in by downloading an app. So I give people the link and they are able to log in and listen in live. You can record it. So anyways, I am going to do a webinar on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. that's going to be about coaching. Now, the webinar is going to talk a lot about January. It's going to focus on why January is such a great time to begin your coaching business. It's going to talk about the new coach basics that I'm going to be working with coaches on. And that's going to be really diving in from the beginning of starting to talk to people. We're in a network marketing business, and that means we've got to start networking with people. We've got to start talking to people. So I'm going to be talking about the basics of the coaching business, but I really want to drive home that January is the time to start. It's the time to really focus on your goals. It's the time to start really not only your personal health goals, but how you can also make a business doing it too. So that is going to be on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And the Zoom link, all they have to do is click that link and they will be part of the webinar. They will not be seen. It's kind of like a call-in where all they have to do is listen in. They're going to be muted. It's only the presenter talking. So that live webinar is going to be at 9. Here's my tip for you guys. As we get closer to the end of the year, and you're just kind of thinking about January, and this is the easiest time of us to put the foot on the brake. You know, we're kind of like getting off of the gas pedal a little bit, and we're thinking nobody's going to care if I slow down. When really this is that season where you've got to plant seeds. You really have to just continually and consistently just keep planting the seeds, because when it comes time in January, if you have done that now, you're going to see it pay off in January. So webinars like this, if somebody can't listen live because they're busy, that's fine. Take the recording and share it with them. Take that opportunity to invite people. Go into your challenge groups and talk to them about this opportunity. You're doing an amazing job in this challenge group. I'm so proud of you. Do you mind if I feature you as my challenger of the week? So you're starting to plant the seeds of what coaching might be for them as well. So this webinar is an opportunity for you to invite. I'm going to be talking a lot about the team. I'm going to be talking a lot about the training, access to the Dream Team trainings as well. There's just going to be a lot of great content, but I'm keeping it short at 30 minutes, letting people know that they can check it out while they're wrapping their Christmas presents. So that's on Wednesday night. Make sure you mark it down so that you can invite to it too. I will also post the webinar link right in the KB so you don't have to write it down. Okay. So here we are, and this is the climb, right? So we are December 14th, and there's like this clear differentiation between the people who hit Success Club, the people who are working towards the Success Club, and the people who are going to make it happen at the end of the month. So what you're going to see over the next 2 weeks is very likely this slowness in terms of social media. You might not see a lot of traction. You might be putting posts out there and nobody's liking it. You know, you might be talking about hammer and chisel, but no one's sending you messages, or you just feel like you're getting crickets, right? It's totally normal right now. I mean, people are just busy, but it is in the back of their mind. It is something that they are thinking about. Everybody starts thinking about their New Year's resolutions in December. Do they want to act on it all the time? No, they're not ready to. They're thinking of all the things that they want to eat over the holidays. They're thinking about being busy. So the more consistent you are right now on your wall is what is going to make the biggest impact in your business in January. So I just wanted to go through real quick and give you some tips on creating a master follow-up list. So at this point, if you are organized or unorganized, it does not matter, because this is where we're starting. If you have Messenger on your iPhone, or if you have it up on your Facebook page, go through and actually start writing down the names of people that you have not commented, talked to, reached out to in more than like 3 or 4 days. When you go through that list, just start writing their names down and put the letter F, or whatever your system is, that means you have to follow up with them. What happens is when you are going to, just talk to them, have a conversation with them, comment something on their page, you're going to start popping up in their newsfeed. You are. And so when you are fresh in their mind, guess what they're going to see? They're going to see your hammer and chisel posts. They're going to see you talking about Shakeology. They're going to see how you skipped the drive-through because you were armed with your hard-boiled eggs or your apple and your almonds. And they might not purchase right away, but they're watching you. So create a mass list using the memory jogger that's in your Coachline online office or your contact list that's also available in the Coach Online office. If you have past business activity trackers where you've been using this, look over that and mark everything down with the letter F that says, I need to follow up with them. And go back through your messages. If you've asked people for referrals in the past and you haven't heard back from them, follow up with them again. Go back to the people who you've been referred to. Go back through all of those messages and just start marking down names with the letter F that says, I need to follow up. Let people know that if they want to be part of your January 4th challenge group, and we are going to have a mass hammer and chisel group that starts on January 4th. If you want people to be part of that, to start on January 4th, they're going to be ready that Monday after they have had way too much champagne, way too much good food to eat. They're going to be ready. And you want to make sure that they are ready too. So let them know through your follow-up, hey, I know how much you were interested in hammer and chisel and it just wasn't the right time. I just want to make sure that I am letting you know, because it's my job, that it's on sale this month. And if you want to order it for New Year's to get ahead of the rush, make sure you order it by December 21st. Give them that date. Does this sound like something that will work for you? Leaving them with a question so that they know that they need to respond. Send out an email, friends and family. It's the holiday season. Let them know, oh my gosh, you guys, I just started this awesome workout. I really feel the need to tell you about it because I have been 100% on track with my meal plans and with my eating. And I just really think that this is a great program that I can do with you. I'm not just saying this. This has been an awesome experience so far. Send out an email. Talk about your experience wherever you can. When you're at a party, maybe you're at a holiday party or a gathering, just start talking about it. Start talking about how you're sore, or talk about how you are really feeling so good. You don't feel the need to indulge in all of this Christmas food. Just start talking to people, having conversations. Push yourself outside the comfort zone. I know that Liz is known for the fearless invite in public. She talks to people she doesn't know. Get out of social media a little bit and get into the world of outside of social media, because right now that's not where a lot of people are. So anywhere you can have conversations with people, make sure you put yourself in those positions to win. And then the last tip I have for you with regard to creating that follow-up list to guarantee Success Club is that right now, more than ever, consistently post and share on your wall. If you feel like you are not getting enough likes or traction, just shut it out from your mind and just do your thing. Because a lot of people aren't liking what you're doing right now because it's a reminder that they aren't doing it. So it's okay because they're still seeing it. They might not like it, but they're still seeing it. So you have to remember, I just need to be consistent. Be consistent with your meal plan. Be consistent with your own fitness and nutrition. If you find yourself sliding, you need to get yourself back on track. We are supposed to be the ambassadors of health and fitness, right, guys? So when we are off track, our business gets off track, and no one's going to buy what we're saying if we're like, here, I'm making cakes and pies and I'm doing all this great stuff and I'm eating it all. I'll start in January. Guys, be the real deal now. Let's focus on really our meals, our nutrition, and sharing that with people now. And if they don't like it, that's okay. It's all right if it's not being liked, because they are eventually going to be like, that's the girl I need to go to because she just lost 6 pounds over the holiday break. And here I am, 6 pounds heavier than when I started. We know that this works. We are tried and true. We know that this is the secret sauce to success. We have to be confident in the way that we approach it, in the way that we talk about it. We've got it going on. So if we can be more consistent with that, it's going to be a lot easier in January, but the work starts now. It doesn't start in January. It starts now. It starts not just by being on this call, but applying what we're doing on this call. Okay, so real quick, I saw this tip of the day in another group that I was in. And I just wanted to share it with you because I do something like this. I have a calendar, and I know you guys probably can't see it right now, but a calendar that's marked like Monday through Sunday. And I mark down what I'm posting when. So on days when you're like, I don't know what to say or what to post, especially through the holidays, this is a great place to start. So if you have your computer open and you can screenshot it, or if you have your phone, if you can screenshot it, just use this as a reminder for yourself so that you can go back and say, okay, I don't know what to say. It's Thursday afternoon. I'm just going to throw out a question. So what's everyone doing right now? And just see what responses. The more you can just keep yourself present in social media, the more you can keep yourself present on Facebook, the more people are just going to see you. So make sure that you're doing a couple things. Number one, you're adding value of some sort. You're making things funny. You're making things like, making people feel motivated. You're inspiring people. You're pushing people. Maybe you're pushing the buttons a little bit with making them think about their own fitness and nutrition. You're being you, you're being unique, you're catching their eye in some way, you're being consistent. It's okay to throw out those vulnerable posts, but most importantly, just be relatable. It's okay to talk about the struggles you have with fitness and nutrition. It's okay to talk about where you were, because those are the kind of things that make you relatable. So my tips for you are to do this. I have included a link for another YouTube video that you can watch. I'll post it in the KB later tonight for you guys to check it out. But this is just really good places to start. Does anyone have any questions about this? Oh, that's very good. Oh, all right. Let's talk about 3, 2, 1s for a second. We're going to make this so easy. Tonight, guys, we have got to talk about inviting a little bit. So I've been really thinking about how coaches are talking to me about how Success Club has been hard. They're feeling like they're getting a lot of no's, or they're feeling like, they just are struggling. And it's normal. This is that time of the year. But I've noticed that a lot of times there's an inconsistency with the vitals and what their goals are. So in order to achieve a goal, you have to make sure that the activities you're doing are in line with the goals that you want to achieve. Beachbody does make this really, really easy. Our job is to do 3 things, right? Our job is to, number 1, be a product of the product. Done. Easy. We got that. We love that. We're all about that. We love our shakes. We love our programs. We're good to go. The second is that we're reading personal development. In theory, it's easy, but it's a really easy thing not to do. And the third one, for some reason, seems to be the one that gives people the hardest time. And that's consistently inviting, or finding people to invite, or talking to people about what you're doing. And I've found that whenever I'm talking to people about Success Club specifically, a lot of times it's because their invites aren't really there. It's either their referrals, or they didn't invite enough, or they kind of expected their indirect invites to kind of serve as the invite. And before you know it, they aren't achieving Success Club because they just were too afraid to sort of invite. So I was going through this, and there's so many different business activity trackers, and there's so many different ways of really making sure that you're inviting. I gave you that example of just how to market and write the letter F by it so that you remember that you have to do it. But really, it all comes down to 3 numbers. It's the 3, the 2, and the 1. And if you do this every day, you are going to be successful. So here is how it breaks down. Every day, before you go to bed, the way that you would the day is that you start with 3, the 2, the 1. You have 3 good new conversations a day that say nothing about Beachbody. This could be with people at social media. This could be at a PTA meeting. This can be about anything, but in some way you are putting yourself in front of other people and you're networking with them. 2 stands for the follow-ups. So once you have formed through a conversation of some sort, this is where you sort of invite. This is where you sort of start the conversation for what you do as a coach. This is where you really start to sort of either follow up with them in the sense that you've already invited them and you have to follow up, or this is where you're taking that initial conversation to the next level and you're really getting to know them in a more challenge or coach sort of way. So people asked me a couple times though, well, what if I have no one to follow up with? If you have no one to follow up with, it's because you're not having enough of the initial conversations. If you're having enough initial conversations that are just continually building off of one another, you're always going to have a follow-up to do of some sort. The 1 means you're checking in with one person personally sponsored in your team. And if you aren't at a point yet where you have personally sponsored coaches, this is a new invite for someone to be on your team. Excuse me, the one thing this could also be is having a conversation with one of your challengers that really isn't about the challenge group. That's maybe just checking in on them and seeing how they are. You know, maybe that they had a rough week with their kiddos, or you know that they were struggling a little bit, and it's just a little message to reach out to them. You know, phone calls are nice, voice messages are nice, sometimes posting on someone's wall is nice. But the 3 and the 2 and the 1 is just 3 new conversations a day, 2 follow-ups, 1 check-in. And by check-in, I mean that you're just checking up on someone. You're just going that little extra mile, that 1 extra step that you can take to make sure that you are every day just moving forward. It's that compound effect. You just did that wee little bit more to make sure that you're really building a connection with someone. And then the other thing that I do is I make sure that every day I add 3 new friends a day to social media. This can be through mutual friends. This can be through the search engine, just going on Facebook and searching either hashtags or searching things that you might have in common with somebody. If you have a business-like page, this is maybe going in and seeing who has liked your page and just starting a conversation or friend requesting them on social media. The 3, the 2, the 1. It's just the power of the 3 and the 2 and the 1. So watch yourself when you do this. You know, like if you are sitting by your computer and you're like, if nothing else today, this is all I have time for today. I am really busy. I have 10 minutes. The 3, the 2, the 1. That is what you do day after day. All right. So the next thing that I hate that it does this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk to you, oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I know it's probably because I'm bumping my mouse, so I'm not going to touch it. Okay, the equation for when you're inviting, you comment, you compliment, and you always end it with a question of some sort. So in every invite that you send, you do these 3 things. You send a comment of something of some sort. So you are making sure that you are connecting with them. You're complimenting them in some way, and you're always ending it in a question. The reason you want to end in a question is because it allows you to start the conversation and go to the next level. All right, so for example, you know, you never go directly into the sales pitch unless you want to be that salesy person. Your job is to connect with them and what's happening in their personal lives. So something as simple as, hey, I am loving the pics of your family. Looks like you guys are doing awesome. Are you all set for the holidays? So easy, so quick, very personal in the sense that I took that time to just talk to them. It was nothing about Beachbody. It was truly just getting to the point. How are you? You know, are you all set for the holidays? But that question allows for the next part of the conversation. Acquaintances or people from old connections with something like, I'm so excited when you popped up in my timeline. It's been so long. How are you? What are you up to these days? This might be someone you went to high school with, someone you went to college with. It might be somebody that you aren't necessarily friends with, but you have mutual friends and you remember them from a while ago. That's a great way to start the conversation with them as well. Okay, so what about those people you don't know that you have never connected with? This one is really easy. You know, there's no fear if they don't get back to you, but if they do, it's a great way to start conversations with people. Hey girl, how are you? Facebook actually suggested that we become friends because it looks like we have a lot in common. I see we have kiddos the same age. What's your favorite thing to do with them at home? I could totally use some ideas. Honestly, I take it one step further and I say something like, I just want you to let you know I'm not crazy, LOL. I just really love networking on social media. I say that. I do. And when I say that, no one really thinks it's weird that I'm using social media to network. I mean, isn't that the point of social media, is to network? Some people on Facebook might not be interested in it, but you'd be surprised how many people, especially moms, and I use the example of moms because this is usually the people that I find, they like to talk to other moms. They like to get other ideas. People that you're in these groups with, that's a great conversation to have with them. Okay, so response formula with your invites. Guys, I have to tell you that today I had 3 objections. 3. And they were hard objections. They were ones that I was certain would be no issues whatsoever. One, I had taken time out of my day, about 30 minutes, and we were ready to go. She was ready to sign up, and today she just backed out. But here's what I have learned about objections. They're so normal, so normal. And if they cause you to give up, it's just because you haven't been diving into your why deep enough. Objections happen in this business, but really all an objection is just somebody saying that I have more questions. I'm not quite ready. I will be, but I'm not there yet. So they're normal. This is just you planting that seed. This is like the month of December. You're planting that seed. So one great way to counter the common objection is to relate to them, right? We all want to be able to connect with someone. We all want to be able to relate to someone. And most of the objections, guys, we know why they have them. They have a time objection. They have a money objection. They have a fear objection. Whatever those objections are, you have to be able to think, well, where was I before Beachbody? You know, what's my story before I started? What did I think of Shakeology before I started? When you start to get back to where you were before coaching and before income and before this was a business, you start to be able to see that you can really relate to people. So, for example, just these 3 words, the feel, the felt, the found. So, I know how you feel. I remember feeling that way, and this is why I felt that way. But here is what I have found. In those 3 words, when you put them into the context of their objection, you all of a sudden make yourself completely on their level. You get it. You understand it 100%, what their concerns are and why they have those concerns. You know, a coach earlier this week was sharing about how she didn't want to sign her mom up for, I think it was for Shakeology. And she was talking about how she didn't want her mom to feel like she was just trying to sell her on something. Can you imagine what a great way that is for her to start talking to her coaches about that? I remember thinking Shakeology was just my way into a challenge group. I didn't understand the nutritional benefits of Shakeology. But here is what I have found. In taking Shakeology for over a year, I have been able to do X, Y, and Z. Making sure that you're inserting those elements of understanding into your conversations are so key. So I did put 2 examples down here, but you just want to remember this has to go back to them. This has to go back to them and not the point and not Success Club, but truly what they're feeling and why they're feeling that way, and knowing that it's okay for them to feel that way. And it's okay for them to ask you questions. And if somebody's going to ask you a question, put your guard down. It's just because they, like you, want to know. Just put yourself in that role of when I started coaching, when I saw the initial, this is how much a bag of powder costs. Go back to that. And I even encourage all of you tonight to go back and think about what your initial objections were. When you worried about when you'd have time to work out, what you felt like then, what you felt like the first time Shakeology arrived at your doorstep and you had just been billed $132 as a customer. What were those initial feelings? You know, when you can get back in touch with those things because you've taken the cell out of it, it becomes easier to connect with other people. All right, so what about those coaching objections that we get? My most common coaching objections that I get are that I don't have my transformation and I don't have time. And sometimes people are just really scared of failure. I get that one a lot. And again, it works the same way to do the feel, the felt, and here is what I found. So whenever you're starting to do this, think about your same concerns. Think about the same objections that you had before you actually signed up as a coach. Think about how long it took you to actually sign up as a coach. Think about all of the things that went through your mind when you thought about coaching, but before you acted on coaching. Maybe you were never in a challenge group, so what made you go into coaching? Maybe you were in a challenge group. How did your coach start talking to you about the coaching opportunity? What are some things they said? What are some things that went through your mind? Because when you can reflect on those things before you started, the easier it's going to be for you to really start having that conversation with someone. When you start thinking of income too, I think a lot of people think like they have to look at success as I have to have some $5,000 a week paycheck in order for people to understand that I'm successful at this. And that most certainly is not the case. I saw a coach talk about how for the last 4 weeks, every week, she has had enough money for her family to pay for the groceries. How amazing is that? How cool is that? I think sometimes we right away want to say, oh, I was able to pay for this Lexus. I got this awesome car. And we don't need to do that. People relate to you. What is something that you're able to do now because of Beachbody? And furthermore, where were you before it? What did you feel? What were some of the emotions that you had? The more relatable you are, the less likely you are going to have to get those objections. So I gave 2 examples of how I work through a couple of the objections that I've had. But notice how most of them start with, oh my gosh, I know exactly how you feel. The thought of adding one more thing to my plate was enough to make me shake. I will say that adding 1 hour a day of coaching made it doable for me to match my salary as a teacher, and I've since been able to leave the classroom to help others do the same. Tell you what, I have this 30-minute webinar coming up on Wednesday. It's not time consuming at all, and it will give you the inside scoop into what we do. Can I send you the link to the call? Just asking them permission for it, ending it with a question. All right, so a couple things that we want to do, and then I'm going to open it up for you guys for questions. I haven't had a chance to see the chat, but while I'm finishing up, if you guys want to chat or just enter some of your questions in the chat bar, you can do that, and I'll definitely do that. All right, so I have 3 things for you guys in terms of your calls to action. The first one is on YouTube. One of the easiest things that I found that has just moved my business forward is just going onto YouTube and looking for invites or looking for things that I'm confused about or things that I want to improve on or things that I know I can do a better job of. And I just go onto YouTube and I search for whatever it is. So our job tonight, I am going to ask you to search for a YouTube video of, a Beachbody invite. Share your favorite or most helpful video below in the comment section in the KB. So that's the first assignment that I have for you. The second assignment is that when you've invited 3 people to either your challenge group or the Coach Info webinar to join your team, I want you to hit the buzzer. And I'm going to put that in the KB tonight as well. And then the last thing is just something that has kind of been on my mind and in my heart as we go into the next year. You know, I truly believe that I am very blessed. When I think back on everything that I have been through in the last 2 years, it is impossible for me to not feel extremely grateful for everything that I have. And I think many of you guys were here, but when I was going through treatments, this team was just amazing. There was this camaraderie where people stepped up, you know, where if I was sick, I knew that the team was in good hands, that I knew that everything was kind of going to work itself out. I could focus on getting healthy. I could focus on getting better. So as the year progressed this year, I kept feeling like this need to, I have to do it all. I have to do it all. I have to do it all. And what I found was I actually ended up like burning myself out. And I think I didn't do a good enough job of empowering leaders. And I have to be honest, there are some amazing leaders on this team. But here's what happens. Sometimes when we don't feel like that sense of empowerment, no matter what level we are, and I'm not talking about rank. That's not what I'm talking about at all. Leadership happens in the little moments where you just share things that are working for you. You start to develop as a leader when you decide, I have something to share. I have something to offer. And you start to see your worth because people start to recognize you as somebody worthy of being watched. But when you create an environment where nobody is taking those action steps to move forward or to share or to give, all of a sudden there's this sense of, I need to hold on to everything, and I need to make sure that I'm just looking out for me. And if I find a great video, I'm not going to share it with anyone else for fear that they might use it better than I do. And when you say it out loud, it's like, it's crazy to think of it that way. But I have always found time and time again in my business that the more I give, the more that I receive. I truly believe that when you create a culture where you're giving to others, you will receive. So my suggestion to you in moving forward, and as you go into 2016, is to really start thinking about being a river and not a reservoir. Not holding on to all the content and the information that you find good, but finding ways to help other people. Whether it's directly connected to your income or not, it's not significant. It doesn't matter. If it is in some way connected to you feeling like this is leadership, this is what leaders do, the more you feel like I have a purpose and I'm connected back to my why and I feel good about this. So as we go into 2016, that is my challenge for you. When you find something that works for you, you share it. When you find something that's working in your business or a great challenge group that you've run or an idea that you've had, share it. Because the more we learn together and the more we grow together, the more leaders we develop, the more we all develop. But it starts with us taking it to that next level and really knowing that we have value that can be added. We can add value to the team culture. So that is our call to action for tonight. I'm going to stop the screen share and then I'm going to really quickly look at the chat button, see if I got anything. Nope, you guys are quiet tonight. All right, do we have anything else? Nope. All right, guys, have a great night.